Jason came to Dragon Con. I haven't hung out with Jason Aaron in a very long time, but he came to Dragon Con. So I was organizing dinners and I was like, look, any night you want to come, you got a spot. And I took him to this like fusion Asian street food place called Jen Jan's. And he was blown away. So he was like,
then
well,
you took him to this gay club and you had the best time ever.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Welcome to Kung Fu Theater. Mattteo and I are here in our new Kung Fu jackets that we got in New York City.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Inkpulp podcast. It's me and my brother from another mother, Mattteo, the dumb
Hello,
shark.
brother. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you, man?
Hello.
Are you? Have you recovered?
Yeah, let's start there. Your fucking son, this little menace, this adorable little menace. Let's start there. What?
At the end of every show, every time we do a recap of a show, it's always the same thing now, since I have a son.
Yes.
So basically, here's the section of events, all right? So leading up to the show. So
yeah, do that.
A couple of days before I have a show overseas, what happens is that my son, inevitably, every single time, he never misses a bit, he gets sick. And so it's so weird because he usually doesn't get sick, over the past year and a half. He's not getting sick a lot. He got sick a lot the first year of preschool.
That's what they do.
But but then he built up the antibodies and stuff. So, but every time I got to leave, he gets sick, like 2 days before, the day before I leave. And then in that day, in those 24 hours, I get it. And then I bring it overseas with me. And then during the arc of my staying in the States, I took medicines and stuff, so I get better. So when I'm back home, I'm finally better. And then when it starts with you, and you get sick.
Exactly right. So let's do this. So the morning of New York Comic Con, or the night before, I open WhatsApp and you left me a message. You're like, hey man, my right ear feels like it's going to explode. I have to go to the airport soon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a prescription in time. And I was like, oh shit, dude, if you don't get a prescription, your ear on that flight is going to be in hell. And then I was like, well,
so here's my situation, just to give you a time frame. When I text you, it was like night for me. Mm-hmm. It was nighttime. I woke up at 2:30 with my ear, again, almost exploding. Basically all my the right side of my face was in pain. Like even my teeth, everything was in pain. I was stuffed with shit in my face. And, I had to leave in the very next morning at around 10:30, 11, something like that. So, considering that the doctor probably gets in the office at 9, I knew that I only had 2 hours to get my prescription.
God. Oh my God.
So I sent him an email during the night and then I text them at around 8 a.m. or something, just to make sure, that it will get the message and maybe, we'll make it on time. By the way, go ahead.
All right. So you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a prescription. So my first reaction is, that's going to be an awful flight. And then I'm like, okay, well, I think between the Inkpulp community and Jason's connections, we can find someone who can write you a script for an antibiotic. I was like, I'm sure we can find someone, but that's going to suck. But you did get your meds and you got on your plane.
Right on time. I got the prescription at around 10:15. So, 30 minutes before leaving.
Yeah, so you got it in time. You get to New York and you had energy. You seemed okay. You just seemed congested.
Yeah.
So it seemed like you felt pretty much okay once he started the medicine. So I'm texting Steph and I'm like, oh, Matteo's here. I was like, he's sick. She's like, don't bring home the Italian virus again. Because the last fucking time, I think it was New York last year, or maybe it was Como. I came home and you had just gotten over a cough, a bad one. And you gave it to me. It knocked me on my ass. Like it was like I was sick, felt sick for just a few days, but for like a month I had a cough. And then Steph had it, and everyone had it. She was like, don't bring that shit home. I was like, what do you want me to do? Just stay in New York until I know I'm clear? I was like, I'm not going to get sick. I'm here with my brother. We're having fun. We're working. Of course. Sunday comes. Monday. Yeah. It was, what was the day we went to the Mignola exhibit? That was Tuesday before you left, right?
Yeah. Tuesday. Yeah.
So I remember it was like Sunday night. I woke up in the morning and I felt fine, but I had sweated through my entire shirt. I was like, what the fuck is that? But I felt fine. And then we ran into Aaliyah and Loli at the Mignola exhibit, and Aaliyah sniffling. I was like, oh no. I was like, you're sick.
Yeah, because I forgot to mention, Loli had the same thing before leaving. Yeah. So basically, I infected you and Loli infected Aaliyah, and you got infected basically at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. So as we're saying goodbye, and I'm going to check into my last hotel because I was staying a day later with Jim, I'm like, I feel really tired. I don't feel great. But I had a great night that night anyway. Woke up the next morning. I was like, I feel a little sick. But then I got home, and then I was sick. Like it was a weird cold. I didn't like, the congestion was just a tiny bit, but I just had no energy. I felt like I could barely stand up for like 2 days. I was just in bed. I was like, motherfucker, fucking little menace. So then Mo texts me, and I'm asking her questions about the con, and she's like, give me a minute. I'm sick. She's like, I got con crud. I was like, no, you didn't. You got fucking Matteo's little kid's disease. Matteo's son is infecting us all. And she's like, again? Because it happened to her the last time it happened to me. So your son's a menace. He's a global menace.
Yeah, absolutely. He is. It is what it is. No, the thing that I was the most worried about was because, again, as you said, I wasn't like knocked out by the aside from the first day before leaving, the day before leaving, I was fucking sick. I was in pain. My whole face was in pain. But after that, it was just annoying because I constantly had, stuff in my nose. So I constantly had to blow my nose. And after a while, my skin here, since I got mustache as well, so that it retains a lot of mucus and shit. You constantly had to fucking
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah. Oh, you're aware. And so my skin got irritated, so I got to find a cream or something to rehydrate my skin, and blah blah blah. But the thing that I was the most worried about was not being able to smell or taste anything.
Of course.
And especially for us, like the both of us, basically most of the New York experience is going to restaurants the night after every day after the show. So I remember I got in New York on Wednesday night, and we immediately went to Empanada Mama.
Yeah,
which is one of our main thing. Like it's a must for us.
Yes.
And I remember not being able to taste anything.
Oh, dude, that sucks.
And I was like, shit, is it I was going to be for the whole thing? Oh my God. Like, and usually, there's at least 2 or 3 meals that we have. They're kind of expensive meals. So not only that, I'm going to spend a lot of money on food that I'm not going to enjoy even. So I was like, fuck. But then again, I was really careful with the medicine. So I was taking basically everything. I had 4 things to take every day, twice a day. So, and I was really, good with that. I think I skipped only one day because my kidneys got fucked at a certain point. So I decided to
Yeah, I remember that.
not to
But I don't think that was the
them.
medicine. That was something
Well,
else.
it was the medicine plus something else. And but yeah. In the end, aside from the first night at Empanada Mama, then I started recovering my sense of smell and taste. So I enjoyed every meal.
Good.
And that was great.
Good. I'm glad. It was your birthday weekend too. When I plan the meals, I am like, you're the first person I'm thinking about. Like, I got to get Matteo into here. Matteo's going to love that. Matteo's going to love this. And then it's
and now we also got to a point that we know enough places that now if we find a new one, we have to eliminate one.
That's what I was going to say.
That's the problem, because unless we decided to stay one extra day every year,
we're just in New York for a month, and a few years from now, we have to go to Empanada Mama's. Oh, we have to go to Quality Italian.
And drain all our bank accounts just in food in New York.
All right, so let's go through the con experience. So you got there Wednesday night, Empanada Mama's with friends was awesome. It was a late dinner, and then Thursday the show kicked off. I went into this show. Jim and I had been talking. People aren't really spending like they have been because of the election, I think, and the wars and stuff. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I was like, I wonder if this show will just be financially not good.
Do you think it's that's your idea?
That's my theory. Yeah. I mean, right now, sales are down. I know that the original art market sales are down. They're not terrible, but they're lower than they were. They were doing really well, and then they're just a bit lower. But this election has got this country like ripped in half, and people on both sides are like, well, if the other side wins, we're all fucked and the world's going to end. So I'm not going to spend money is my thinking. And I think the war on top of it is scaring people too, which rightfully so. So I was just wondering, like, and I was like, I don't care. I've learned like New York is just, there's so much you do at New York. It's not just about making that short-term con money. I line up jobs for the year. We get to do a lot of good promotion for the podcast and meet like so many people who like to watch the show. And we had all this, like all these giveaways and stuff. I was like, it's going to be awesome. If the money isn't there, it's okay. And so that was my attitude going in. And in hindsight, like, I didn't do bad. I didn't do great. I did decent, but I did decent for not doing much. So that was fine with me. What about you? Did you feel like sales were down a little bit?
Well, if we look at the pure numbers, this was my best show ever in terms of of numbers. But there's a but, which is it's all because I took a lot of commissions before the show, and not only New York commissions, which is what I usually do. This time I opened a list through my newsletter service on my website. By the way, www.matteoscalera.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. You get a new unpublished PDF version of my sketchbook. So this time I took commissions not only for New York, but also mail away commissions, which made the most of my, of my income for the show, because there's a lot of people that been waiting for me to do own commissions for 3 years probably now. I think the last own commissions list I took was during COVID. So probably our son was already born. So 2021. Okay. So basically 3 years ago. Yeah. And people keep asking, are you open for commissions and stuff like that? And every time, I'm too busy working and stuff like that. So and I can't do it. So this time what I'm doing is, putting them in in my commission list for shows. So I'll bring them at the show, give them to Jason, who's going to be able to ship them away. Otherwise, shipping them from Italy would be a pain in the ass. I did 17.
Oh, shit. That's a lot. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So, yeah. But at the show, did you feel like sales were down?
At the show, yeah. I felt, yeah. I mean, I was lucky enough. I managed to sell a couple of covers. Mm-hmm. Then I have all the prelims, the cover prelims that sell well. I sold a few pages here and there. I sold a decent amount of art books, especially because this year I had both my art books.
That's right.
I had Dumb Shark and 5 Shades of Grey. Right. And they sold, I think, between the two of them, like 100 of them I could sell. So that was nice. But yeah, I think that generally speaking, without the mail away commissions, probably it wouldn't have been an incredible show. It would have been good, right. But not incredible.
That's how mine was. Mine was good, decent. Yeah.
And but this time I did all the commissions at home so that I could be, free to focus on tabling, basically. And I wanted to make an experiment, which was trying to, stand up like Jim Mahfood style, just stand up and try to lure in people, talk to them and convince them to, buy stuff.
Right.
Because we missed that element. We were talking to Attack Peter as well. We missed that kind of element of trying to, call people and illustrate them what's the products that are available. And this is not the first time we talk about this, so I don't want to spend too long talking about it. But at the same time, what happened was there's a lot of students and a lot of aspiring artists that normally I have this happen all the time. They stop by at the table and they ask me if I could give them a portfolio review. And normally I'm busy doing commissions. So I'm like, every time what I say is like, hey, can you come back on Sunday? Like in the afternoon, like 3 p.m. or so. And if you do, I'll be happy to do that. And normally what happens is that most of them, they're not going to be there on Sunday. They have other plans for the day. So, I end up doing a couple of portfolio reviews and that's it. Instead, this time, I was available. So I started doing it. And I ended up, reviewing like 15 portfolios during the show. And what I do, I mean, you saw that. I don't spend 2 minutes on it and then, oh, great job. Bravo. Congrats, and good luck. I literally, like, even if I see a bad portfolio, I'm going to spend at least 20 minutes with you trying to describe and tell you what you should do to improve your stuff. It's an accurate, like, some people, they listen to the podcast and they were there and they asked me for portfolio reviews and they can attest to that. It's a long, specific portfolio, very specific. Portfolio
I saw it go down. Yeah. You're very generous with your time and knowledge.
And it's all good. I was happy to do that, but at the same time, it kind of fucked with my other project, which was trying to convince people and trying to push merch, basically.
What I try to do is set up 2 times during the weekend that I'll do portfolio reviews. I'll do a Sunday at 3 and a Friday at 3. So, and it seemed like everybody that asked for a portfolio review would be there around that time on one of those days. And it also, I think it's like, it's good to put it back on them a little bit because it shows you, like, if they're serious about this, they'll come back. Because some people don't come back. You're like, all right, I'm glad I didn't invest time into that because you weren't serious enough to come back. So, but that way, but I was doing the same thing, trying to stand up, which I think is the first show we've really just stood up and talked to people at. But I sold out of my prints. I went from selling like maybe 1 print at a New York Comic-Con over the past 5 years to selling out. I didn't have a ton of them with me, but I sold out of them. 4. Four. Well, 3 in a display. But yeah, so that was new.
It paid out.
So yeah, so I like that. But also, I realized what Jim does is that's a lot of hard work, like a lot of energy you spend, and your feet just start killing you. But you were smart. You had Brooks. You had good shoes.
Oh yeah, definitely love those shoes, man. So yeah, that was the plan, and plans changed a bit, and I'm thinking about doing the same thing you do, maybe even for every day, but having portfolio reviews from 3 to 4 p.m. So whenever, and have it on the displayed on a piece of paper, so that it's not, it doesn't sound like, oh shit, I don't want to do it now. Let's ask them to come back.
We could even announce it. We could announce it before a show so we're doing it at the same time, so people will know. Oh, Shawn and Mattteo are doing it. So, and they can go back and forth between us, so people aren't waiting as much. That might work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of our fans, we met a lot of them.
Yes, we did a lot,
and it was fucking amazing, man. Amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. So we had these little giveaway packets that had some podcast stickers, some live stickers, some Keep Craft Alive stuff, little cards of information. And we gave those away to all the fans, and we had buttons, little Inkpulp buttons that were free that everyone could put on their lanyard. And we told everyone Sunday at 3:00, and all of you listeners, this is how it's going to be at every show we're at. Sunday at 3:00, we're going to do an Inkpulp group photo. So we told everyone. I was just hoping to get this crowd of people in. Everyone could have a good time taking a good photo. And we did it. So I'm going to send it to Jamie. Jamie, put it up right now. And as you can see, this was the magic event. And we told a bunch of our professional artist friends that are fans of the show or have been on the show to come as well. And they did. So it's crazy. We have this photo with Humberto Ramos. Humberto loves this show, and he's so sweet and supportive. I love it. And it's amazing. We had Ramos was there. We had Jonathan Glapian and Daniel Enriquez from the Spawn crew. And we also had the editor-in-chief of McFarlane Productions in the picture was there. Thomas. Thomas Healy was there. Alex showed up for the photo.
Alexander Lozano.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Great addition to our crew, by the way. From now on, I always hope he's gonna be at the same show that we are.
Me too. Alex and Caroline are awesome people.
They're amazing.
They're great people. So Rossi showed up, and Lee Lowridge was there, and Marty was there, and then a whole bunch of listeners too. So it was this really cool mix of people, and we had a great photo. But Jim had a really good idea. What we have to do next is we have to have some sort of special giveaway for everyone that comes to the photograph. So it's like we give you something, say come back, and if they come back, we give them something else. So we just got to figure out what that is. Nothing crazy, but just something nice.
Like a commission or a cover. Original art.
Just grab a cover. Grab
whatever you like, whatever's left.
It's all yours, kid. But that was really awesome, and they bought gifts. A lot of people have been bringing gifts to us. Which one do you want to do first?
Well, let's do the brand new caricatures.
Yeah, if you guys remember last year, we got these amazing paintings of us. I was Eeyore.
Those are the ones that I've used on my commercials for whatever I needed a commercial for last year.
So our friend came back with new portraits. Let's see what Mattteo got here. Yeah.
All right. This is mine as the Cookie Monster.
That's so awesome. So the whole
It's beautiful,
the whole
man.
it's amazing. The whole thing was Sesame Street themed. So mine is I'm Bert, but Ma Food has now entered the equation as Ernie saying food one. So we got Bert and Ernie, and then I'm sure you all can guess who Eric is from Sesame Street. So we will definitely be animating these for a commercial, maybe for my Kickstarter, but for something
Oh,
definitely.
absolutely.
These are hilarious. So thank you for that. And then our friend Jimmy stopped by too and gave us these really awesome. Do you have yours nearby? Mine's at home. The skull.
Oh yeah. Well, they're not. I think their name is different. Like you call him Jimmy.
Did Jimmy do the paintings? Yeah. Okay, Jimmy did the paintings.
Which one you talking about?
These. This might be Jimmy, right? That's Jimmy.
Okay. You're okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the new one. Okay, that's Jimmy.
No,
okay,
the new one too. The new one is Danny. Is it Danny?
There are two brothers from Panama,
Philippines. Oh, Panama.
No, Panama. Racist.
Okay.
And Danny and Fred Chong. They're amazing.
Yeah.
We met them a couple of years ago, I think, in New York. That was the first time we met them.
Danny made bracelets. Yeah, we met them 2 years ago, but last year Danny gave us Inkpulp bracelets that he made. These bracelets that were the color.
Yeah, and every time they're super cool. They stop by. Awesome. They're a lot of fun. And this time we got the fuck happened. Oh, my TV.
What do you mean?
For a second. No. Nothing.
I thought you shit yourself. You leaned over.
That happened.
What happened?
30 minutes ago. So, if only you could smell it.
No thanks.
So they brought this two gifts.
Yes.
So it's a skull made. I think it's is it a stone or a glass?
Yeah, it's a stone. No, that's a stone. That's a natural crystal.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then this beautiful shark in stone with the Panama flag behind it. And they're amazing. Thanks a lot for the gift, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. But it was awesome to connect with all of you and meet you all and talk about the show. We realized, but like at the con, you realize how many people are like involved in watching and being a part of this. And it's pretty awesome what we're doing. It's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. And they're actually listening. Like they knew stuff from the show and it was great. So I have a bunch of new stuff. Well, you mentioned, Madi.
Yeah.
Madi Keen. He's a great artist, more into the underground scene. He was tabling too, right?
Yeah. It's his first year tabling in New York. Yeah.
And he's originally from Algeria, and now, he was born and raised in New York. His family's originally from Algeria, if I got it right. I
think he was born in Algeria.
Oh, okay,
pretty sure he was born there, but he moved to New York and then France and then back to New York.
Yeah. So basically, he stopped by, introduced himself, and he left a couple of books. One of them is Steel Streets.
Yeah.
This is one of them. I mean, he has more. He gave me two of them, and then this is the Spider-Man. What's the shit? The name is covered by the number 2, so it's something. Sorry, Madi. It's basically supposed to be Spider-Man, but of course the Spider-Man name is covered by the number 2 and everything. And it's basically a parody of,
it's hilarious.
Of a superhero book.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Madi's amazing.
And it was great meeting him. We had the chance to spend some time together on Tuesday because we finally made it and went to Cats the kosher deli.
Yeah, so that brings up a good story. So I always have to get to Cats. I grew up going there. I love their pastrami. It's as much as I love how it tastes. It's also full of great.
Right. Yep. What's sorry?
Bless you. You're a Jew. So I always have to go. And we didn't get there at the beginning of the show, and you can't get to Cats during the show. You'd spend the whole day going there and back. So Tuesday, we said, let's do lunch with Marty and another young talent named Jonathan Marks, whose sketchbook that kid's amazing. We all went to Cats. Now Mattteo, being the vegetarian that he is, says to me, I'm going to try the pastrami, just a bite. So I have video footage of that. We'll play right now.
Right now. You good?
All right, here we go.
Strangers in the night.
No, it was good.
So Mattteo, tell me about this. What did you think of Cat's pastrami from a vegetarian perspective?
It was fucking great. It was great. I loved it. I loved the smoky aftertaste of it. And sorry, just burp thinking about it.
That's disgusting.
I just digested it now, 2 weeks after.
I was gonna ask.
So it was great. It was great. You know what? Just wanting to try a small bite. You can see it in the videos.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I had a feeling of it, but I think the best experience would be having a full bite of it, with the proper thing. Because from what I understand, like I've been hearing on the Take Your Shoes Off podcast by Rick Glassman, who's a comedian. He talks constantly about the pastrami, and he's very specific. So he talks about what he mixes with it and stuff like that. So probably the full experience would have been like taking a full, like big fat bite of it. Maybe with some, do you put mustard in it? Or
I don't. Most people do. I don't. I just eat it plain. I love the fat from the pastrami soaks into the rye bread, and it's so good. It's so good.
So again, limited experience, but the small bite that I had, tasted delicious. Again, I'm not one of those vegetarians. They're like, oh, meat. Oh my God. No, meat is fucking delicious. I just decided to give up on it, but it's delicious.
So I was a little worried, like, cause you haven't had, when was the last time you think you had meat? Like, or just a bite of meat?
Had it like literally like,
just a bite.
By mistake or a bite.
Anything.
Okay. I'll tell you when. So this was, lots of years ago. I don't even remember. Like I couldn't even point out a year, but a lot of years ago. So basically the singer of my band, he was a vegetarian for a second, and then he decided to quit. He was a vegetarian for like a year or so, but then it's a long story short, he decided to quit. And his parents had a restaurant back then, a really good restaurant. So what we did sometimes on Monday, the restaurant would stay closed. So we would have dinners at his restaurant. We would use the kitchen to make up,
nice.
Make some food there. And one time he decided, I don't know if it was his birthday or there was some celebration, and he decided, okay, let's have dinner all together here at the restaurant. But what he used to do was just basically cooking the stuff that was already, prepared. So the stuff that they would do at the restaurant. Right. So he had some limited options, only the stuff that was easy to cook. And one of them were this kind of ravioli with culatello and like a wine sauce inside.
Ooh,
and basically, so we went at the dinner and we sat down. It was like, so Mattteo, if that's okay with you, I made the ravioli, and that's it. That's all we're gonna eat. So basically, he made a ton of this ravioli. Maybe there was just a few other things to eat, but small bites, like, I don't know, like bread with something with tomatoes on top of it. It's not nothing special. Maybe there's a dessert, but the main course was this fucking ravioli. They were delicious, and he was like, and I was like, but there's meat in there. You know that. Yeah, but I figure, it's just one night. It won't kill you, right? I was like, what the fuck? And especially from him, you were a vegetarian like until last year. That what it means to be vegetarian is that you cannot eat meat. Plus, like, we've been eating in this fucking place for years now. We've always done, like, I don't know, pasta with tomato sauce sometimes.
Right.
We would do a risotto, like a truffle risotto. There's the options. Why didn't you bring like a small portion of like pasta, whatever? Or just tell me and I'll bring some food from my house, instead of forcing me to eat this because it's just one night. So that was the last time because, I was hungry and I was drinking. So I could, I can't just eat bread for the whole night. Right. And so, I had a few of this ravioli. I didn't binge on them, but, I had some of them. And that was the last time in which I had meat, like, and aside from the gravy episode, that one as well. I don't know if I ever told the story here on the show.
I don't know. Did we? That's a good story.
Yeah,
I think we did.
Basically,
I think we did.
Okay.
Do a quick recap.
Yeah, basically it was one of the first years that I was in the States, so I didn't know much. We were at this hotel, I think it was Charlotte, and this hotel had the breakfast buffet. So the last day on like a Monday morning, we all decided to have breakfast together. And, everybody grabs the stuff that they want. And I went there and I had oatmeal, like a huge bowl of oatmeal. And then right next to it, there's this thing called gravy, which I never knew they existed of. And, I already had oatmeal before and I didn't like it because it didn't taste like much. And I didn't know what to add to it to make it good. So I was like, okay, oatmeal, it's a no-no for me. I'm never going to eat oatmeal anymore. But there's this other, sauce right next to it. Let's try this sauce, And so I grabbed a full bowl of it. And then, I simply sat down on the table and when everybody was talking, I start eating. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, I love this one. Like, this is really tasty. I love it. And then all of a sudden, it dawned on me and I was like, shit, this is meat. Like, it can't be this tasty and not be something with meat in it. So I stopped you guys from talking. I was like, guys, can I ask you, what's gravy exactly? And then you explained to me what it is. It's just melted fat with the fat on top of it and other fat and some meat with fat in it, basically. And I remember as you were explaining it to me, I had the last spoon, like a spoonful of it in my hand. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, last spoon. And I took it, just to take one last memory of this fucking delicious thing. So yeah, that was actually probably, I don't know what comes first, if the gravy or the culatello ravioli.
Now, what's funny about the gravy thing is you ate it like it was soup. Like you ate sausage gravy.
So what do you use it for normally?
You're supposed to, most people, you pour it over biscuits. So you're eating the bread. Oh shit!
It's not even a thing that you should eat like that. I didn't even know. All right, so I had a lot of it.
You had a lot of it. You had a lot. You need a vehicle to eat it with, like something to deliver it to them because it's so rich.
Another time, like 10 years ago. Now you'll find out I'm not vegetarian at all. Like I keep eating meat and fish. But another time it was 10 years ago. I was with my girlfriend back then. And we went to this place. Basically, we went for her. I don't remember if it was her birthday or something. Oh, she really wanted to try this restaurant. And it's basically mainly a fish, like a seafood restaurant.
In Parma?
Yeah, in Parma. And basically what happened was, in Parma, they always have, any restaurant, you get the tortelli d'arbetta, which is a fully vegetarian plate. So I'm like, you know what? My dinner is going to be a little boring, but whatever. As long as you enjoy the dinner, I'm willing to, this time sacrifice myself for a good cause.
Right.
And so I remember she ordered as an appetizer this mix of crudité. Basically, it's raw fish. So basically, it's a pyramid with like 3 or 4 plates, and on the bottom it's all sliced fish, and then you have all the the shrimps, the raw shrimps from this place, the other raw shrimps from this other place, and on top of it, there's a small plate with 2 oysters. So my girlfriend back then was like, I never had oysters. I'm kind of scared. I think they're mushy. I'm not going to like the texture. I don't know. I was like, dude, you've never tried them. You have to. She's like, I know. I think I'm going to leave them there. You know what? There's 2 of them. Let's have 1 each. I never tried them because I became vegetarian before trying them. So because I was like 16 when I started my vegetarian thing. So, that kind of raw shellfish, how do you call it?
Yeah, raw
I wasn't allowed because it was too dangerous for hepatitis and all that shit. So basically I never had the chance to. Now I'm like, 30 something and I can't do it. So, I had it. So that was another time. Another time was no. Sorry.
So in all of these times, was your stomach okay after you ate it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
the
amazing.
only problem. Yeah, the only problem I have is with fish, but it's not a stomach problem. It's more like a smelling problem. Like I generally dislike the smell of fish now because I'm not used to that anymore. So if I'm eating something that touched fish by any chance, or sometimes in Italy they fry the French fries in the same oil where they fry fish, I can taste it. I can feel it, and I don't like it. But meat, I still, even if I smell some meat, it's great. I don't have a problem with it.
Being a vegetarian and then eating a bowl of sausage gravy, I'm surprised your stomach wasn't like, what the fuck is going on here?
I never had any
that's
problem.
amazing.
Again, I never, aside from the ravioli one and the gravy, I never had, an experience when I ate a lot of meat, like a full steak or something, I should try probably next New York. I'll have a full New York steak.
Oh no, don't do it. That's lucky. But if you're going to do it, Quality Italian's the place to do it.
Awesome. Which, by the way, we were there one of the days.
So let's talk about, our dinners were great. So Wednesday night was Empanada Mamas, me, you, Jim, Loli, Aaliyah, Ali, and Ali. And that was it, I think. Yeah. And then Thursday night was like your dinner because you last year at Como, you met DK, right? You just met him at Como that year? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, we met before. At other shows. But we got to spend a little bit more time together at Como.
Yeah. So DK's I'm such a fan of his art, but he's also a really cool motherfucker. Like really great to absolutely hang out and talk to. But so he had a crew. We wanted to organize a dinner with DK and his crew and Alex and Caroline and our crew. And you loved Tao last year. We went to Tao downtown.
Yeah. I was it 2 years ago maybe?
No,
or it was last year? Oh.
It was the one night you weren't with your family that night. You came with us.
Okay, gotcha.
It was last year because Zoe was there, and she was with me last year.
Oh yeah, right.
So we and Tao. It's an impressive restaurant. It's like an incredible visual place.
Yeah.
So we had a big party, and Ramon came in, and we had a really good dinner there Thursday night. I think for a lot of people, because we were all just like some of us were getting to know each other, it was just loud and the table was huge. So it
Yeah.
was
Plus,
hard
they
to-
gave us this huge round table, so basically you
Right.
could talk only with the people right next to
Exactly.
you, and you couldn't hear anything. So it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I expected it to be. I mean, the place
Right.
is still beautiful and all that shit,
Yeah.
but you know, the food mixed experience this time. You know, it was. I was slightly disappointed. I was from the, you know, confronting that to my compared to my expectation.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, so did you feel like the food wasn't as good as you remembered, or it was just the noise?
It was the noise. Then the food. I mean, the stuff that we had as an appetizer, it was the same stuff that we had last year.
Last time,
and we
right,
already
right,
knew
right.
it was going to be good.
Right.
But then I think the last year I didn't eat the main course. I only had the dim sum, the basically the dumplings. The
Right.
the vegan dumplings were amazing last year, so I reordered them again, and those were great. But this time I ordered like a main course and basically lo mein,
right.
basically
right.
the Chinese noodles with vegetables and stuff. And it was like, you know, at the end, I only had basically one taste aside from a couple of dishes. Everything was sweet,
Yeah, well,
and then
yeah,
sweet
right.
again.
Right.
And yeah, the lo mein was like, I mean, we had lunch at Holly's, which is a great Chinese restaurant.
That's right. We had Chinese food that day. for
and
lunch.
I had the lo mein there, and there's, you know, there's no
Right.
difference. So
Right,
except
right.
for the price. I mean, those ones were 3 times the price of
right.
all these ones.
Right.
So it's kind of, yeah. And then the wine list, they had super incredibly fucking expensive wines. Like we're talking about $2-3 a bottle. So we decided, especially as Europeans, especially as an Italian, like I can get a nice wine for like $30.
Right.
And in there, like we decided to go with a couple of bottles for like $90, $100, around that price. And they were like, not good.
Yeah. Right.
So overall, you know, I mean, my final judgment is that place is more looks than actual,
yes.
you know,
it's atmosphere. It's atmosphere.
Yeah.
So we can skip Tao next year maybe and do something else.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I ended up ordering what you had last year because it was so good. That eggplant, I could eat that eggplant all day.
Yeah.
That shit was good. But you're right. It's all very sweet.
Yeah. And I asked because I got worried because there's a lot of first timers there. And we basically were the ones, hey guys, you should go down with us and it's going to be amazing. So I was kind of worried that they weren't having a great experience. I asked them after, everybody was happy. I mean, that's what they told me. I don't know. I hope they were happy. If not, I'm sorry.
No, I think everyone enjoyed it. The only complaint I got was Alex said it was too loud. You couldn't have conversations with people. And I know, like, it would have been nice to be in a small, quiet, intimate restaurant where we could have conversations. Yeah, I agree with that. That would have been nice. But DK loved the food. I mean, Alex said the food was great. He really enjoyed the food.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they said the wine wasn't great. But yeah, so we'll try something different next year. So that was Tao. And then the next night was our Cuban Chinese. I want to know what are your thoughts on that place? Because we've been going there every year for a few years.
I like that place. I like the place. The food is good. The personnel, they're great. The place is nice. Yeah. And it's more, intimate. So you can have a conversation. And, I decided to take it very easy that night. So I was drinking beer, just enjoying each other company. So it was an enjoyable, the food was good. So it was enjoyable. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's a place we'll skip next year too, just because we've done it so much and we need to try some new shit. But that was the dinner we had with the Spawn team. And for all you listeners, there might be something exciting coming out of our Spawn dinner. If you can picture the Inkpulp family and the Spawn family. Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. And then, so the next night was our big expensive dinner, quality Italian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I thought that dinner was spectacular. I
That was
loved
great.
going there,
It was a great
but
dinner.
it was like, it wasn't too big. Everyone, I mean, we could talk. I mean, it was noisy in there, but you could have good conversations, but the vibe was right and the food was right. I love the wine there. I think
Wine was
I
good.
think you found a good wine too.
Yeah. I kept ordering. I used this tactic for this restaurant. I decided, since there was nothing that I really knew in there, aside from a few Italian producers on the wine list, I decided to go with wines by the glass. You know, I tried this one and this one and this one, and then I found the one that I liked. So I took two glasses of that. So, you know, I ended up spending basically what I spent for a bottle for like
glasses.
3-4 glasses, which is, you know, a little bit more expensive, but I got the chance to, you know, pick a wine that I liked instead of just, you know, taking my chances on a wine that I don't know. Maybe I'm going to spend like $100 on a bottle of wine, and I ended up, it ends up not being that great. So I think I did good there, you know, the good thing.
So, yeah.
And I had the pleasure
Italian.
to sit right next to Jason Aaron, which we met like pretty recently, or maybe you met him before. But
I've known Jason for years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it was the second time that we got to talk a little bit. Super nice guy. His wife, I think, wife or girlfriend,
partner. I don't know if they're married.
He called her his partner.
Right.
And she was amazing. We had great conversations, so it was great. And at the end, I liked the fact that I think it was him. If it wasn't you, Jason, if you're listening, sorry, but we ended the whole dinner, and he was like taking it back for a second. I was like, I didn't talk about work for a second during this dinner. This is fucking amazing. He was actually like surprised of that. He was happy.
Yeah.
It was a happy surprise.
I mean, yeah, that's great. Cause I mean, I used to spend every night like going out for like work dinners, like trying to network and talk about projects. And it was when we started just going out with friends, it was so nice because we never talk about work at dinner. We just talk about life and all the good stuff. So Jason came to Dragon Con. I haven't hung out with Jason Aaron in a very long time, but he came to Dragon Con. So I was organizing dinners, and I was like, look, any night you want to come, you got a spot. So he joined us. He's like, I'll come to one dinner. I was like, all right. So he came with us, and Jason's a foodie. And I took him to this incredible restaurant in Atlanta called it's a really gourmet Mexican Southern fusion spot, Agave, called Agave.
Mm-hmm.
And he was blown away. So then he was like, well, where are you going tomorrow? So he came with us the next night, and I took him to this like fusion Asian street food place called Jen Jan's, and he was blown away. So he was like,
then
well,
you took him to this gay club, and you had the best time ever.
That's our trailer. So he said he wanted to come with us to a dinner in New York. So I thought quality Italian would be great. I'm glad he had a good time, but I knew him and his partner are big foodies. So I was just hoping it lived up to their expectations. So after dinner,
they looked really happy. If not, they were pretending really well.
Right. After dinner, I walked up to them. I was like, so guys, what'd you think? And his partner, I forget her name. She was like, well, I have to tell you, we're foodies. And I was like, oh shit, they didn't like it. Like I thought she was going to be like, so our standards are really high and this just didn't meet it. But she was like, everything I tried, I was blown away. Even stuff I've had before blew me away here. So they had an incredible meal. So that was good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great deal.
I'm still not completely sold. And by the way, I'm vegetarian, so who fucking cares? I'm still not completely sold on the parm old chicken pizza, that fucking thing.
I love that.
Doesn't exist in Italy. But
yeah, no, it's
probably
not Italian at all. Yeah. But you don't like chicken. but it's delicious.
Even from just an Italian standpoint, like
I
if
get
they
it. I
tell me,
understand.
"Oh, we're gonna do this and add it with this and this and that," and that,
Yeah, I get it.
It's very American to us, but
Yeah, it is. It's totally American. So what they do is they take fresh chicken breast and they put it in a food processor and grind it up.
Okay, wait, Jamie. For every single step of this recipe, please do like a ding, and then have it on the screen. All right. So first step.
Chicken, raw chicken breast in the food processor. Second step, they take the ground chicken and I guess they mix
fuck him in the ass.
and they put it into a circular pan and freeze it. So it's like a disc now. It's like a frozen disc of ground chicken. Then they dip it in batter, fry it. So you got this giant disc. Then so it's breaded and fried, and then they put tomato sauce and cheese on top and melt it down. So you basically have a pizza, but the crust is chicken parm. So they call it chicken, but they serve it with this chili honey that you drizzle on top of it. It's so good. I love it.
Like all the process wasn't enough. You just put onion on it,
But it's so good. So yeah, so I get it. It's a very American thing, but
it was just me being an Italian for a second. It's
But
like
I
people from
respect that.
Naples, wherever they go outside of Naples, and they start complaining about the pizza and the coffee.
right.
I was doing that basically.
Right. But yeah, so if you want a steak in New York City, I highly recommend Quality Italian. I think that their steaks are some of the best in the city. And then our last night, we went out for Italian for Elia's birthday, which was Il Punto.
Yeah.
And that's an Italian place.
Elia wasn't there, but yeah. He was there in spirit.
That's a whole nother story. But Il Punto is an Italian place that you and the other Italians have said is good Italian, and it's traditional Italian. It's not very American Italian.
Yeah.
So we always enjoy going there. And I please go visit Il Punto. It's on 9th Avenue. Incredible restaurant.
Yeah,
And
it's great, like genuine Italian cuisine. And I can hear even the guy, the owner, I probably already told this before, but it's clearly a guy who lived in Italy until a few years ago. And recently
he's from Sicily. Yeah.
Yeah. Came to went to the States now came. And the food is genuinely like good Italian food. Of course, it's going to be overpriced because it's in the States.
Right.
But because most of it is kind of comfort food, which normally in Italy you find it for cheap prices. There, you find it for higher prices. But even the wine, it's gonna be overpriced. But what you're drinking. They have good wine in there, and it's not incredibly overpriced. So if if you're Italian, you can't recognize some brands. You'll have some good wine for a decent overpriced.
Yeah. And then you stayed until Tuesday because Monday was your birthday, and we said we're gonna hang out and do something for Matteo's birthday. So I had this vision in my head. Like, I wanted to make Matteo's birthday the best birthday ever. I know Matteo is a huge fan of stand-up comedy. I'm friends with Bobby Kelly, who's a famous stand-up comedian who is in the New York area and performs at the Cellar a lot. The Comedy Cellar is the history of stand-up comedy.
Jamie, put a picture of Bobby Kelly, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm texting with Bobby. I mean, when someone's that, like, I don't want to say famous, I guess, or popular, it's like they're doing a million things at once all the time. So I'm texting with Bobby and he calls me back and he's like, "What do you want, dude?" And I'm like, "Look, it's my best friend's birthday. He's Italian. He's a big stand-up comedian fan. He saw you open for Louis when you were in Italy a few years ago. I just want to take him to the Cellar and give him the Cellar experience." He's like, "What do you want? Free tickets?" I was like, "No, I'm not even asking for that. I just want to know, will you be there? Will you be performing? Can we see you?" In my head, I'm like, I want to get Matteo in the front row and Bobby Kelly to just roast the shit out of him. and hang out with us afterwards. I was like, that would be an incredible birthday for Mattteo. So he's going back and forth. He's like, get in touch with me like 4 days before. So I do. And he was like, I'm not performing that night, but let me see if I can get on the schedule. So he was literally trying to get in the schedule to perform for you. So I was like, if this happens, this is good. Yeah. So on the Thursday the show started, I texted him. He's like, dude, I got you tickets Tuesday night. I'm performing 7:00. See you then. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, all right, I'm going to be here. So I'm going to go to that. But I was like, Mattteo will be gone. So I quickly was scrambling and I found that at the New York Comedy Club, Mark Norman was performing. I know Matteo's a big fan of Mark Norman. So me, Ramon, and Jim went and saw a comedy show there. That was awesome. Like that was great. We were in the front row. It was a good show and we had a good time. So, and then the next day you were leaving, but we got up, also Monday, we did our shopping. We went to our super dry, took care of all that. You slept till like noon that day.
Yeah, because, and I'm gonna, by the way, a few things about, go ahead and then we'll talk about it because I had three.
Yeah. I know you've got things to talk about. Yeah. Okay. So the Tuesday, Mattteo goes to we all go to Cats with Marty and Jonathan, Jim, me, Ramon, and Mattteo. And then we go to see the Mignola exhibit, which was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Seeing those paintings. I had sworn up and down he was using watercolor, but me and Aaliyah were looking at it and Aaliyah goes, this is gouache. Cause he thought the same thing. And we're looking at it like, yeah, this is definitely gouache. So that was an incredible exhibit. Very lucky to see it. And then you left, and that night, Jim, Marty, and I went to see Bobby Kelly at the Comedy Cellar. We were in the front row, and he destroyed us. He destroyed Jim up, down, and around. I mean, he leveled Jim. It was the funniest thing. But Bobby's a master at comedy. He had everyone in the room nailed down and would just pull jokes in the middle of his act, like to include someone. He was incredible. So then afterwards, he looks at me, he goes, meet me upstairs. So we went upstairs, we went outside, we were hanging out with Bobby for like 15 minutes on the street, having a good conversation, laughing. He's such a cool motherfucker. And then I see Bobby, like, somebody says something to Bobby. I look up, and this is where I really wished you were there. Jim Norton comes right up to Bobby, to us, and Bobby's holding your prints and piece of art I gave him, because I gave him a print of yours, a print of Jim's, and a drawing I did. And Bobby's holding it. So Jim's like, what do you got there? He's like, oh, these are comic guys. And so Jim turns to me and asks me if I know this comic artist. And so Mahfoud, me, and Norton are having a conversation for like 5 minutes before he left.
That's awesome.
And then he walks away, and I was like, fuck, man, that's what I wanted for Mattteo. And so then Bobby's like, I got to go, dude. I got a podcast. Great seeing you. I'll be in Atlanta sometime. Let's get together. Fine. Good. Goodbye. As we're walking away, who walks right by us but Louis C.K.? Had Louis walked by 2 minutes earlier, I would have met him, because he would have, him and Bobby are friends, and he would have talked to Bobby, and we would have met him. And I was like, fuck,
Jesus,
man, this was the night I wanted for Mattteo. I wanted to like give my buddy this night. And so Marty's like, there's Louis C.K. I should go say hi. And he starts to run. I was like, Marty, stop. I was like, leave the man alone. I was like, he's not like, we didn't meet him. Like, don't bother him on the street. He's like, oh, okay, I'm just excited. I was like, look, out of respect for how good he is at his craft, let's leave him alone.
It's just, what you just told me is amazing. You stopping someone because they're getting too excited is fucking like, this is so new to me. This is something something happened there. Probably you were starting to get sick already.
I definitely was. Okay. That's a good point. That's a very good point. So, then the next morning, Jim and I woke up, we went and got Francesca. We were done. Like, I was starting to feel a little sick and we were just worn out. I was like, Jim, I just got to go downtown and get this thing for Mattteo. And we went down there, and then we just went to the airport early, had lunch, and went home. Yeah. But you've got some things you need to talk about.
Yeah, no, well, not only that, I wanted to say that our experience to the New York Comedy Club was amazing, but that's like basically a bar, and then you get to the club, and then the show was amazing. We're like front row. We got, some, how do you call it, crowd work done onto us. It was fun. The comedians were amazing. Mark Norman, amazing. Mike Cannon, incredible. Amazing.
Yeah, that guy was good.
But yeah, that was a show, and then you get out, and that's it. Instead, the night before, which was Sunday, this was something that was decided the last second. Michael Calero from Massive Publishing, he has, I found out on Sunday, he has this tradition for New York. So on the Sunday, after New York Comic Con is ended, he always go to the cellar. It books a night in I think the Village Underground. I don't know if it's always the same room, but he always does the same thing. So he goes to this I don't remember what, a Cuban restaurant maybe. Really
Bobby told me about that Cuban spot. He said it's really good.
Okay. And then he goes to the show. And at the last second, I was like, we're having dinner at Punto. I was like, so dinner is early, so I might make it on time. So I had dinner with you guys, and then I grabbed a taxi, and I went to the cellar, the Comedy Cellar. So I had the chance to finally see the Comedy Cellar. We saw an incredible show, and the last second they managed, because the reservation, there were no more room for reservation for tickets. They managed to put me with his group. So it was the four of us. We went in, we had an amazing night. I managed to watch Jordan Jensen, which she's an amazing comedian. She does a couple of podcasts, beautiful. She's great. And then we get a drink in the pub in the same structure as I don't know if it goes under a cellar or that pub has a specific name. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been.
So we're having drinks, and right next to us, Jordan Jensen plus another couple of comedians that performed last night, they were having beer right next to us. So, I mean, we didn't go there and bother them, but still, it's right there. Right. It's fucking amazing. Then I decided, okay, I'm going to use the restrooms. So I asked somebody worked there. They told me, you got to go downstairs, and there's a room. You walk through the room, and you get to the bathroom. And as I'm walking downstairs, I hear someone's talking to a microphone, and the voice sounds familiar, and it's a really deep voice. I'm like, shit, this is Ari Shaffir. And it was Ari Shaffir performing for a small crowd. So this must be one of the smallest rooms in the whole cellar structure. Right. And basically I had to walk between the small audience and Ari Shaffir, right here. Like literally it was a small corridor, and I could touch basically Ari Shaffir. And for a moment I was running so that I wouldn't bother anyone. And I was like, what if he stops me and starts roasting me? But that never happened. But for a moment I was like, fuck. So on the way back, I walked a little bit slower, just in case he would say something, and never happened. It just basically didn't even know I was there.
That's funny because this tour group came in while Bobby was performing, and he stopped his act and for 15 minutes just destroyed them and roasted the shit out of them. It was hilarious. So yeah, that would have. There's something weird about Ari Shaffir and us, because we ran into him in Seattle years ago. And then I saw him again in New York. I think it was last year. And then I was at Sirius Radio being interviewed on these hip hop shows with Mahfood.
Oh, he was there as well, right?
Yeah, Ari. So we're checking into Sirius Radio, and who's in line behind us to check in was Ari. Yeah. And so then you see him. So I don't know. We keep running into Ari.
Jews that correct each other. Maybe.
Could be. All right. So what did you want to get into? You had some stuff you wanted to get into.
So first of all, the reason why I woke up at noon on the Monday, which fucked up my whole plans for Monday, because that was the shopping day. It's the only free day of the whole, the trip. So basically, I'm gonna send Jamie. Please remind me to send you this picture. All right, it's a picture, and you'll think when you see it, it's just a picture of, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to make the bed, and you just leave the covers like right there, like thrown on the bed. Okay, except what you see there's a person underneath those sheets. And that's Shawn. And that's the way he slept for the whole trip. He slept that way. It was basically in a bag. The sheets were a bag, and his dead body was inside of it. The sheet were even inside, you know, the sides of the bed. He would just grab them all and just peck himself with the shit in a very weird shape. It was like sleeping in the shape of an L. The only reason I would know that Shawn was there is because the noises, like the fucking noises that he makes. And I have I have an audio for that as well. So you know.
Here's what I have to deal with every fucking night, all right? Just so you know.
Because, yeah, the noises that you make, man, they're fucking incredible. So on Monday morning, I wake up, and as usual, I turn to my right side, and I have the pack of sheets on the bed. I'm like, all right, so Shawn is still sleeping. So it means that we still have time. So I keep, falling asleep and then waking up like 1 hour after, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know how much time has gone. And I keep turning to my right, and you're there because I see the fucking thing. And then I do this like 4 or 5 times. And at a certain point, I hear somebody's entering the room, and I'm like, fuck, maybe the cleaners, the cleaning ladies, how you call it, the housekeeping, how you call it. It's them. And instead I see Shawn getting into the room. I'm like, who the fuck is right here? So basically Shawn was gone the whole time, and I thought that you were right next to me, and you weren't. You were
right,
around the city shopping.
Right. You rolled in at like 4 a.m. that night, and I heard you come in. And so I woke up at 7 because I got to sleep at an okay hour. And Jim was texting me, let's get some coffee. So I was like, all right. So I went out with Jim, and I was like, I don't want to wake up Mattteo. He's probably really hungover. He's probably sleep. I was like, let him sleep it off. So when Jim and I went out to get coffee, we ended up at Muji, and I got us these Kung Fu flannel jackets we're wearing. And we had some coffee, and we walked around and got back to the room around noon. And that's when I woke up, and that's when Mattteo woke up. So I just didn't want to wake you.
No, absolutely. I wasn't blaming you. I blame the fact that you sleep like an object, not a person. But that's it. So now I have a really important question. It's still related to being in the same hotel, and you're not going to expect this one. This thing has been bugging me forever, like since the day we started sharing a room in the hotel.
Oh no!
And now it's time to ask you, because I don't know what the fuck it is, and I want to find out. Okay. Basically, every morning, or anyway, every time you use the bathroom, when I go after you, there's always. We don't use them in Italy, but the hotels in the States, you have the big towel for the shower towel. Then you have like a mid-sized towel for like your face. And then there's just a small one, which I don't know what you use.
A washcloth. That's for your face. Okay. The little one. Yeah.
Every time I enter the bathroom after you, there's always one of those small ones right on the, how do you call it? On the sink.
Yeah.
like on the side. So basically it goes half on the sink, it goes over and it falls down.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, I move it because, it's not mine. And I touch it and it's fucking soaking wet. Like literally you just grabbed it, put it into water and just put back there. And I don't know what the fuck are you doing with this fucking thing? I want to know. And I never bothered asking you because who cares? But now I want to ask you, what the fuck are you doing with this fucking thing?
Okay. I'm just rinsing my face
I got it out
off.
of my system. Like 15 years it was here.
After I wash my hands, I just rinse my face off to get the excess oils off. It just feels fresh. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm
but
doing.
why it's so wet? Like it's soaking wet. It's not just humid. It's soaking wet. Like if I just squeeze it, like a lot of water would come out of it.
Oh, well, I thought I wrung it out. If I'm not wringing it out, it's probably because I'm dead tired and didn't.
But what do you do? You put it underwater?
Yeah. Make the water
okay. You
warm.
actually put it underwater.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
okay.
I wipe my face off. Yeah.
All right. Finally.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
all.
Christ.
That's all I'm doing.
So, last thing, before leaving, you told me you're seriously thinking about buying a Toyota GR86, which is basically the new model of my car. So, my question is, did you go forward with it? And second of all, are we gonna have matching cars at this point? That's the next step.
Yeah, so the plan is, yes, I'm going to the car dealership this weekend to start to look. I just don't know if I can afford it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can afford it, I'm getting it because I want a 2-door car. I like a car that's kind of like a sports car, but I also want room for luggage and shit when I travel. And I know I'm looking at the Miata also. And I know I can afford the Miata has some good lease options, so I know I can afford that. But again, that trunk is tiny, and I don't know if it'll fit all the shit I need it to fit. And then I was telling you how much I love the Supra. Now that's just too expensive; I can't afford it. But I didn't realize that had a tiny little trunk too. So the GR86 is kind of perfect. Yeah. So I'm hoping I can afford it. So yes, if the universe conspires with us, we will have matching cars.
But and by the way, how do you feel about like secondhand ones?
I'm fine. I always have used cars. I never. I don't think I've ever had a new car. My CRZ right now is used, but the problem right now is used cars are so expensive.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know what it is, but I was looking at used cars. That's where I always start to look, and it was like insane. Like the amount I'd have to put down to make my monthly payment affordable. I can't even touch it.
Well, even my car, like I looked into it, and now it costs like I don't know, like 10 grand. It's 10 grand more expensive than when I bought it.
Yeah. My CRZ when I got it cost me like I think it was $14,000.
Yeah.
And it had like 19,000 miles on it, like 9,000. It was very low mileage and it was great. But that same car right now is over $20,000.
Yeah.
And I was like,
No, the reason why I ask is because Toyota is known for making really durable cars.
Yeah.
So even if you got like even a GD86, which is a previous model, which is the one that I have, if you find it with like GT86.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
They don't make that anymore. Now it turned into GR86.
I'll look for that.
Yeah.
Because I would prefer that. But I'll see if I can afford it. But yeah.
That's, I mean, even if you find one with, I don't know, like 80 or 60,000 miles, it's basically almost as new, considering like those kind of engines. They're amazing.
Because I always buy Hondas because they last forever. And I always knew that Honda or Toyota, you're going to be fine. Yeah. And that's why I was looking at the Toyota because Honda stopped making the 2-door sports car. Like even the Civic is a 4-door thing now, and the one I have, they don't.
Plus,
make
I don't.
anymore.
I don't know. Probably it's because I'm in love with the old Civic, like from '91.
Yeah.
You know, the new ones they've added. I mean, the last model was a little bit better, but still they changed it so much that I don't like it anymore.
Yeah. I love the Toyota that you have. That car that's what I want. That's my first choice.
Yeah, you should try and look for the GT.
I was
86.
I was looking for
the engine is smaller and there's less horsepower, but still,
That's fine.
It's a great. Yeah, I don't think you need that much power.
Yeah. All right, so I'm definitely going to look into that because I didn't know that the earlier models had a different name. So I was just looking at used GR86s and I was like, I can't afford this shit.
Oh yeah, no, because it's brand new. Like it came out a year ago or so. So
I'll
it's
definitely
basically
look.
it's even harder to find used ones with a GT86 or Subaru. BGZ. What's the name of it? Well, anyways, Subaru does the same car, basically the same engine. It's basically the same car. BRZ. Subaru BRZ.
And that's
it's the same car.
Okay, and they still make
because it was made in collaboration between Subaru and Toyota.
Okay, I'll check that out too. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Before we go, because we've been going a long time, are we going to talk about Godzilla or are we not going to talk about Godzilla?
What do you mean?
The Godzilla experience that you had in New York City.
Oh, shit. Yeah, shit is the right word, actually. Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh, my God. Biggest. I mean, it can be,
Well,
it can be said in a few words.
Wait. No, because it started before we got back to the room.
Yeah.
That was after.
I'm wondering if I should if I should send a picture to Jamie and we'll show it.
I don't know. We should.
I don't think.
But we were. It was Monday, right? And we were out shopping, and we were getting back to the room, and you're like, "I gotta go. And like on the elevator, you hit panic mode, full panic mode. You're like, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it went
I can't
0 to 100 in literally like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So we get to the room and Mattteo just goes right into the bathroom. And then I hear, holy shit. He's like, dude, you have no idea. I'm hearing this through the door. Dude, he's laughing hysterically. You have no idea. This is incredible. He's like, Shawn, you just got to come in here. I didn't even stop to think of it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go in there. I go in. Matteo's standing there with his pants around his ankles in front of the toilet, laughing his ass off. And I looked, and what I saw was not human. That was. I don't think a human was ever capable of that. It was unreal.
And to be fair, it was my best ever. Like I've never done anything like that.
To be fair, it's the best ever in human existence. To be fair,
probably if there ever was like a contest or some kind of tournament of the biggest, longest shit ever, like I would have won for sure.
But the thing that got me was the width. I couldn't imagine like you must like someone's raping you anally every night to be able to push that out of your body because that was insane. So this is our poop talk. This is our new poop talk segment. I think we've created the new term,
a new one,
the Godzilla. I think we'll spare everyone.
Hopefully we won't hear a lot of stories about it because it's a painful experience, but yeah, but it brought you a lot of joy. And so the two of us are in this bathroom laughing hysterically while Matteo's half naked and there's a giant shit in the toilet. That's just how we roll. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, by the way, before we leave, one last thing, dude. We've been going on for almost an hour and a half this time.
I know
Jesus.
this is long. Yeah.
So I have news regarding something that will be going on with my website soon. So hopefully we'll manage to have this episode out the next
it'll
Monday,
be out on Monday.
Right?
Yeah, it'll be out on Monday.
So we'll make it on time. Basically, on November 15th, all right, it will be One Bad Friday, basically. So November 15, 2022 is when my Mr. Freeze book came out.
Okay.
All right. And so happened that November 15 this year is a Friday. So I'll do my own like Black Friday. It's going to be One Bad Friday. And if you go on my website, www.matteoscalera.com, you subscribe to the newsletter. And on November 15, there's going to be a nice thing. And of course, you know, it's a Black Friday, similar thing. So there's going to be a nice discount code related to that, those items. So specifically Batman One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze related items.
Nice.
Then we'll be doing, we'll be having the holiday sales a few weeks after. But that's a special one that I really wanted to do because just for the fun of it. And so please subscribe to my newsletter on the website, and you'll see what it is.
That's great. Also, I've got something I want to announce. I have a commercial for it. Jamie, if you can roll that commercial now for the Inkpulp instruction thing I got going on. The commercial will explain it all. And
right now.
Whoa, Shawn, what is going on with you?
I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed. Our craft is under attack, Jim, and people don't understand inking and they don't understand line variation.
Shawn, you already created Inkpulp instruction.
Yeah.
And you already created the intro to inking.
Yeah.
So it's simple. Just put up the intro to line variation on YouTube.
Oh, good idea, Jim. What you got there?
Smells like craft.
Boom. So there you go. That was the commercial. So head on over, check out the free chapter here on YouTube, and then head over to inkpulp.tv and you can buy the video yourself. And I think that about does it, Mattteo. Are you ready?
The Inkpulp Podcast.
Right. Shawn, according to my analytics, your thumbnails are one of the highest in demand items on the internet. What have you got to say about that?
Jim, funny you should say that. I have a gift for everyone in the Inkpulp community. A free PDF of some of my thumbnails, as Jim said, which are in high demand. Also, I'm giving you a new home, the home of craft, the official home of the Inkpulp community, inkpulp.tv. A place where you can learn about the craft of comics, engage with the community, receive special offers, and so much more. In order to get your free PDF, head to Inkpulp TV, sign up for the newsletter. This is just the beginning of so many wonderful things to come. Thank you. Keep craft alive.